Sisters and brothers, away no hear me, Pastor Melo speaking. Today we are going to address in this video the sixth FAQ, frequently asked questions about the third secret of Fatima. Can the promised land prophesied in the Bible be in Africa? I present here 4 strong arguments proving that yes, Israel, or better said, is in Africa, and the evidence of this statement comes from the Most High himself, Gog, Prince of Russia, and of Moscow, Meshech in Angola. Were it not for the prophecy of Ezekiel 38:14-16, I quote, "Therefore prophesy, Son of Man, and say unto God, Thus saith the Lord God, Yea, in the day that my people Israel shall live in safety, thou shalt know. Then you will depart from your country, from the ends of the north, you and many people with you, all mounted on horses, a great multitude, a mighty army. You will advance against my people of Israel, like a cloud that will cover the land. In the following days I will cause you to march against my land, that the nations may know me when I shall be sanctified by you before their eyes, O God." Had it not been for this prophecy, as I said, my uncle Alden Roberto, leader of the FNLA, National Front for the Liberation of Angola, one of the 3 Marquisard forces, having taken arms against colonial Portuguese, would have been the first president of independent Angola. The problem is that Alden Roberto was pro-Western. The MPLA, Popular Movement for the Liberation of Angola, of Agostinho Neto, was pro-communist. It was therefore the latter who, by appealing in 1975 to the Soviet Union and its allies, the Cuba of Fidel Castro in the front line, paved the way for Gog, Prince of Russia, and of Moscow, Meshech, Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 3. So, he is a multimillennial prophecy that came true in the 20th century under the nose of the whole world without anyone realizing it. Why? Because as I fully explained in my video, Israel the Decoy, everyone's attention is focused on the Middle East, whilst the prophecies come true where the Mavila Makongo are, namely the hidden tribes of Isolde. Let's imagine for a moment that Russia, at the head of a coalition of several countries, attacks Israel in Palestine. What would happen? The Western camp, the United States first, would not allow it to happen without reacting. They would defend Israel militarily, and by so doing would certainly trigger World War III, leading to a nuclear war that would sign the end of the world. Conclusion: the real Israel is not in the Middle East, but in the center of Africa, where this prophecy came true without causing a worldwide war. The footprint of the Most High. If you visit Angola, do not miss the black stones of Pongo Angolo. These are impressive mountains located in Malange, in the center of the country. You will see embedded in a volcanic rock aged millions of years the imprint of a foot. How a human foot could have literally melted the granite to imprint its mark on it is a mystery beyond human understanding. For an explanation, let's turn to the Bible in Ezekiel chapter 43, verse 7. He said unto me, Son of man, this is the place of my throne, the place where I will place the soles of my feet. I will dwell there forever among the children of Israel. The imprint of this foot is therefore of divine origin, which is why it defies the laws of physics. But above all, It is the inimitable signature of the Most High which designates Angola as the place of his residence. If that foot seal had been in Palestine instead of Angola, the whole world would have flocked there. The black stones would certainly have become a place of pilgrimage and tourism, featuring prominently on the leaflets of travel agencies. The Bravo Project, Israel in Angola. Few people know it, but the establishment of a new Israeli state in Angola was envisaged at the beginning of the 20th century, at the same time as the Fatima operations occurred in Portugal. The first attempt was made by W. Terlo, an Israeli ethnologist who, together with Congressman Manuel Bravo, managed to debate the project that was to take his name in the Portuguese Parliament, a bill that provided for the colonization of an area of 45,000 kilometers meters on the Benguela Plateau. It should be remembered that at that time the Jews were victims of pogroms, massacres, all over Europe. This is why the Jewish Territorial Organization was actively seeking a place of refuge for the new state of Israel. However, the proposal was rejected mainly because of the obligation for the Jews to naturalize Portuguese. In 1934, there was another attempt at Jewish migration to Angola, with 5 million Jews from Germany, Austria, and Eastern Europe seeking to leave these countries under the presidency of the League of Nations. Finally, in 1938, Jacques Politis' project seeking refuge in Angola for Jews in danger of death also failed because it again stipulated the adoption of Portuguese nationality and the Portuguese language as the main conditions. The evocation of the Bravo Project allows me to return to my late Uncle Holden Roberto. While he was a political refugee in Paris, I had heated discussions with him about who were the real Hebrews. With strong historical and biblical arguments, I would demonstrate to him that the Hebrews were in Africa in general and specifically in the Congo. Under the influence of the English missionaries of the BMS, the Baptist Missionary Society, Alden Robert was deeply impregnated with Eurocentrism. He kept telling me that it was foolishness to imagine that the Hebrews could be blacks, Africans, and Congo. However, one day, after renouncing his French exile to return to his motherland, during a conversation with the ambassador of Israel in Angola, great was my uncle's amazement to hear the latter say to him in the tone of the confidence, "Do you know, Mr. Roberto, that the Congo nationals and us, the Jews, we are cousins?" Noting the disbelief of his interlocutor, he added, "Yes, despite the difference in color, you and we have the same ancestral roots." That's when Uncle Alden was convinced that Pastor Melo was right. Canaan, the promised land, is in Africa, not in the Middle East. First of all, the word Canaan finds its roots in the Congo language. It stems from the verb kana, which means to plan, to intend, to promise. Nsi Akanina is the Kikongo translation of promised land. Kanina and Canaan are undoubtedly the same. In addition, Ham, who is the father of Canaan, is recognized by all as being of Ethiopian race, that is to say, an African. Ham, Hem is in its original form Wama, a very common name among the Congo people. Knowing that the past participle of Kwama is Kema, meaning burned, swarthy, blackened, which is found in Latin in cremare, those who will argue that these are mere coincidences are blind people who do not want to see and deaf people who do not want to hear. Let us remember that the linguistic comparisons between Kikongo, a Bantu language, and the biblical story constitute the simplest and most convincing tool to prove a migration of the Congo people from the northern regions, Palestine, Egypt, towards the center of the African continent. Finally, Kwama is the father of Nkosi Kush, who himself is the father of Havila. Now, Havila and Kush are the geographical areas mentioned first in the Bible, in close relation to the genesis of humanity. Genesis 10, verses 11 and 13. B. The land promised by the Most High to Isolele is a land flowing with milk and honey. Can we compare the tiny Israel of the Near East with the three Congos, Portuguese Congo, Angola, Belgian Congo, DRC, and French Congo-Brazzaville? These three countries, announced in Matthew chapter 13, verse 33, formed in fact the territory of the former Kingdom of Congo-Diantotela. Scholars classify them among the richest countries in the world because of the profusion of water, ocean and rivers, sun, minerals, gold, diamonds, oil in particular, fish, animals, reminiscent of the Garden of Eden, lion, elephant, giraffe, forests, bushes, savannas, and even of desert, Kalahari found there. This fully justifies the expression country flowing with milk and honey, Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 3. C. Congo enjoys a territory so vast that it can easily accommodate the millions of its daughters and sons of the diaspora who, oracle of the Most High, will return to motherland now that the 400 years of exile prophesied in Genesis chapter 15 verse 13 have been accomplished. This happened in the year of grace 2019. Read about it, my book 20 plus 20 dry bones get up. In Congo, there is no need to wage war for the smallest square meter of land, as is currently the case between the pseudo-Israelites and the Palestinians. Manna. As a last argument demonstrating that it is the Most High Himself who designates to the face of the world where the true promised land, the place where Kuswa, Christ, is called to reign, is, I put forward the testimony of the manna which fell a few years ago in southern Angola when a deadly famine was raging there. Watch the report of this miracle and you will live, so to speak, in vivo, the 16th chapter of the book of Exodus. So the question is, the real Israel is in Palestine or in Angola? You be the judge. Ingeta, Pastor Melo.
Good. I've also come to taste the manna, and I can't really describe how it tastes like. It is like honey, it's like a cake. I really don't have words to describe how it tastes like. Exactly, I don't know how to describe it. I just know that it's white and it's sweet. But the real taste, I can't have anything to compare with.
This story of number, I've been just reading it in Storytime in Africa book. I taught my kids when they were growing with that story. And when we heard that, my kids heard that we are going to Angola, they asked me, Mommy, is that the same place where manna was falling? I said yes, but it should be in Angola, but I don't know exactly where that place is.
Pessoas necessitadas. Isso está acontecendo lá na Angola. O milagre foi descrito há milhares de anos atrás na Bíblia como maná.
The taste, I can't describe it. It tastes of everything that I've ever eaten that is so good.